Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. God bless you. Thank you for being there. Wherever you are watching me from, my courtesy is extended to you. There is this video that has been making rounds for some time now, and for some reasons, I've not actually watched it and I've not considered making something out of it until when somebody called my attention to it and I requested for it. Now, because I'm doing it late, I may uh, have to do it in parts. So the one I have here is the response of the woman at the center of the in the midst of the storm, the woman that was married now, who has become an ex-wife to somebody else, and she is the present wife of the pastor, who is in the middle of this whole imbroglio. So I will be letting you to watch it, and I will be speaking somewhere in the middle of the video. So I would like you to watch till some point in the middle of the video, within and around 12 minutes of the video. There I will end my view, and then you can watch and finish whatever you want to watch. So thank you and God bless you. I'll be seeing you there. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the End Time Truth Television channel. We urge you to subscribe to the channel, activate the bell icon by selecting all so that the next time we upload a new video, you will be among the first persons to be notified by Google. I'll be seeing you in the next video. Till then, shalom.
I followed him borrowing money. He asked me to borrow money. I borrowed money in my school. They are still there. The debt of the money I borrowed, I'm still paying it till date. The money I borrowed is this pastor now that is helping me now to foot those bills. I borrowed money for his sake, his children's school fees that have heaped like this. I'm paying it one by one. I've not finished paying the debt till now. Go to Holy Child School Rumukusha and ask. They are all aware of the story. It didn't end there. Now, after everything, we come to that place. We come to the house where we are living right now. Now, the thing is, feeding is a problem in the house. Ask Bright if he has given me upkeep since 11 years I've married him. Even if it is 5,000 naira upkeep, go and ask him. Go and ask Bright if he has done anything. But I don't complain. It's normal. He may not have it. I keep living my life the way I'm living it. I keep surviving the way I'm surviving it. It didn't stop there. This same Bright, after 1 year, I returned back to him. Where he took me to the church, he has met one church he wants to be attending. I should leave with him and all that. I left with him. Now, the issue now is, at the end of it all, I came back. We started living outside the family. Bright started from where he stopped. He started the worst. The worst is that I shouldn't go to work. I should be a housewife. During the pandemic, I shouldn't go anywhere. He called people. He said these men are chasing me and chasing men. He saw anybody around me, he will nail them. He has done so many things. He chased people that call me mother away from me, the youths, the teenagers. He said they're all sleeping with me. That was it. So he told me that the only way for him to give me a total support into my music, because I have gone to the studio to do a skeletal work of my music, he said not in his house. Not in his house. Now, the issue now is that he said I have affairs outside, that there are many men that are chasing me and all that, that I must take an oath for him. I must take an oath for him. He said I should take an oath. That's the only way you allow me to have peace in his house. I now begged him, if I take an oath, the record of the oath is with me. I recorded it. I have record of it the day I took the oath. I said, if I take an oath for you, will that make me to be a free woman? I can go. He said, I can go to the moon. He will be sleeping. I should take an oath that there is no man that is going to sleep with me, blah, blah. I said, is it for both of us? He said, no, it's just him alone. I took that oath for Bryce, just to prove to him that I am innocent. I took oath against my faith. I took oath against my faith, just to prove to him that I don't have any skeleton in my cupboard. And I asked him, do you have peace? And I say, I have peace. But that is the worst. He started doing the worst. I'll go to borrow food outside. I will go and, no, just negligence. Sometimes they will go carry the children and buy them food for them to eat. Me, I will stay hungry. A neighbor will just give me food to eat. I will just be surviving it. I said, enough is enough. I'm not going to die. He looked at me one morning. He said, there is no marriage between us. That I'm just in his house wasting his time. That I'm a smelling thing. He chased me out of our room. That I'm a smelling thing. That smelling thing, he called smelling thing. He threw it in the garbage. He threw me in the garbage thinking I'm going to die. He says he's make my life miserable. That when last I hear about his name, I will run away. That's what he told me. And I told him I'm not going to die. That he's going to make my life miserable and all that. Now, the last straw that breaks the camel's back is that I refuse taking all these things. He told me vividly that number one, he's going to put axe seed in my cream. I don't want to bring my children into this. Because even my children became scared and they were crying. My son will embrace me. My son of 4 years will embrace me and say, Mommy, don't worry, I will take care of you. He abused me before my children. I don't talk. He called me a weak woman. And you came on social media to tarnish an innocent man's image. You came on social media bright. You've done your worst. You want to get fame. You bend to your knee that you're going to destroy me. But let me tell you, this is my rising moment. You bend on your knees that over your dead body will you see me standing right and fulfilling my destiny. You throw me in the garbage, but the seed you throw in the garbage find a means of growing and becoming something. I decided to leave his house. How? When I left his house, one day he just locked me up and said, I'm not going for church program. That night, he locked the door and put the key in his pocket before my kids. I said, it has gone to the extent that you start locking me and walking away. So anything can happen to me. If there is a fire outbreak, I can't escape anywhere. He told me that the children I'm even talking about, it's not when I'm alive to see them, I will start talking about them. When I'm alive, that when I'm dead, I'm rubbish, he move on with his life. Then highest is money. My people don't talk and all that. He locked me up. I packed my things before his eyes. I said, Bright, it is over. Bright, it is over. I'm not going to do this anymore. This is the last straw that will break the camel's back. I can't die in your house. I can't die because I want to prove myself. I want to prove myself that I'm a good woman. Before his eyes, I packed my bags. I kept them or whatever. He told me to leave. That I should leave self is done with me. That it's just his children I'm taking care of. I packed my bag and I kept it. The next month, that night, I escaped by my children. My daughter went and looked for spare key. And my son, they hid the key and come and give me and say, Mommy, run away. Mommy, escape. That was how I left that house that night. That was how I escaped out of that trap. In the morning, we pack our things. I packed the things, called a taxi, packed the things to my mother's house. That was on the 28th of November last year. Pastor Moses Adeyo was not in the picture. I have nothing with him then. I went to my mother's house. Bright knew that I'm in my mother's house. Even that day as I was going, he saw me. Let's talk. Okay, can we see? I told him, I'm not, if you want us to talk, come to my mother's house. As he came to my mother's house, he saw me. I said, this is where we are, and this I want to be. I'm done. I picked up a Bible to renounce the oaths I took. He ran away. Immediately he saw me pick up a Bible. He left the house because he knew I want to renounce the oaths. I lured him one day in a restaurant. I have a record of it. The oath I renounced. I lured him, told my sister to follow me. I didn't tell my sister what I was going to do. Before I quickly bring up a Bible, I renounced the oath. I said, your oath is no longer binding me. I am a free woman. I can live my life. It's not working. Let's not kill ourselves. Go your way. Let me go my way. He said over his dead body. It was not enough. It was not enough. I left. I left to Lagos on the second week of December. The first week of December, that's when I left Lagos. I was struggling. I have to squat with a friend. Because if I'm in Port Harcourt, Bright will ping me, Bright will trace me and will block my ways. That is his nature. He will always stop me on the road. I will cry, I'll be begging for rescue. I have to leave Port Harcourt so that I can have my peace. I went to Lagos. I started my life afresh. I started squatting and squatting. I got a mini job in Lagos. Nobody knew my story. I covered up. I started my life afresh. I started earning small money to be able to take care of myself. It didn't end there. That was how it happened. It was calling. I said it's over. Now, to make it official, I came from Lagos to Port Harcourt in April. He said I left his house in 7 months and I ran and lived with Pastor Moses Adeyo. I've been in Lagos all this while. I came in April to my village. I went to my people and told them what has been going on. They shouted. I've been going through all this. I refused telling them. They invited Bright. The king of my community invited Bright and his father. He called his father. His father refused answering him. His father did not respond because they all know the story. Bright came with his friend. They told him to go and bring his father. He didn't bring his father. We had an agreement. We went to my house. My uncles, my father, the people that gave me anti-marriage sat. And I held my view. I opened my mouth and told them what has been happening. They all lamented. Even the friend he came with was shocked that he didn't tell him to this extent. Bright, they asked me if it is true. He said, yes, what I said was true. They said, but you never come to tell us that our doctor is not with you. You just seal it up all this while. But he said he doesn't know where I am, that I ran out of his house without his notice. He has been begging. Now, they asked me what I want. I told them that the marriage is over. I'm no longer interested. I want to move on and live my life. I'm no more interested. I have tried. This is the 4th time now. I can't be running and be coming back. I can't be running and coming back. That was how they said, okay, since you've decided to marry, we will not force you. Bright, our daughter says she's no longer interested.
Yeah. Would that bringing religiosity into this matter? I want to, say that I have actually seen many women who have been abused, many women who have been traumatized by their husbands. I have seen people who had gone through worse things in life, in their marriage. Some have opted to stay in the marriage, some just because of their children, and some just that their faith, accept the fact that they don't want to divorce, they don't want to be divorcees or an ex-wife. Yeah, there is a valid argument that what if she dies in the marriage, and actually many have died. I want to agree and accept that many have died. Yeah, but I truly want to be very careful here because many will want to misunderstand what I am about to say here. It is never the desire of anybody who is going into marriage to either man or woman except an extremely irresponsible person, or all these things that we hear today that people marry just for marriage sake, not because they are responsible. It is never the anticipation of anyone. If you looked at the pictures of this woman and this estranged husband now, you will find out that when they were going into this relationship, they did not envisage that today would come to play. So, having said that, it is not always the best for any woman to leave her marriage. It is never the best. Everything and anything that should be done to disabuse that must be put in place. But then, if you ask me, if everything has been done and life is going to be lost, I have a different opinion. That person that will be the first to advise a woman who is being physically assaulted and traumatized and emotionally bruised all of the time by an uncaring husband. I will always tell her, you are better alive than dead. And most especially when the woman has children. It is very, very traumatizing both for the woman and for her children. But then, this does not in any way imply that I am now asking women to leave their marriages if it doesn't work, go get a divorce and leave your home. No, that is not what I'm saying. If you listen very well, you will hear I said when life is involved, if everything has been done and if care is not taken, you will discover that somebody is going to die, then this will always be my counsel. I have not been, in the business of asking women to leave their husbands and then get married to another man because of violence. Now the truth is that there is no marriage that doesn't have ups and downs. Now the woman who came out and speaking in tears of what she has gone in the hands of her husband, you know, many would doubt the truth or the veracity of her story. She might be saying the truth and she might be lying. Now, the important thing here is that for me, if I was her brother, now I wouldn't be alive and see my sister subjected to all kinds of inhuman treatment. Even though that in this video, I don't remember her making mention of her husband, laying hands on her, physically being violent on her. But it is true that sometimes emotional violation is more traumatizing than even the physical one. Now, before you actually say something or judge this woman here, I would want you to sit down and empathize. Now, I am only exclusively talking about the relationship between her and the husband. I'm not delving into her marrying the pastor for now because that should come on a separate thing and on a separate video. So what I'm looking at is the violence at homes and the violence in marriages. Now, the truth is that people today, today people don't sit down to evaluate the core value of marriage before venturing into marriage. Now, some people, the reason they married the person they saw and married in the women these days is because of money, because of physical flashy things. And amongst men, it is usually, the height, the shape of the breast of the woman, the shape of her buttocks, the straight legs and all that. And so when eventually in the course of the relationship, you discover that some of these physical conditions are not always there. They are not permanent. For instance, somebody who was rich yesterday can become poor tomorrow. Somebody who had a car or had many houses yesterday can run into challenges that can take away those things. And so if that was the reason why the woman married him in the first place, now you will discover she will change. Automatically, she will change. If she was answering the man sir before, if she was calling the man honey before, it will get to that point where the honey will become a monkey, because the honey is no longer sweet. And once the honey is no longer sweet, it becomes bitter. And you see, they sound alike, honey, monkey, right? Now, and if the man, the reason he married the woman was because her breast was firm, and her legs were straight. And at some point in time, the firm breast of 5 years ago definitely will not always remain that firm. Hardly do you see a woman with children that still has that, structure that you saw many years ago that you probably fell in lust with. I don't want to call it love. When you fell in lust with her, that, many years ago, you thought you were in love. Now you discovered, after that it was lust that drove you to her. But unfortunately, the truth is that people that want to get married, it is always important you ask yourself some pertinent questions. Now, it is always good that before you get married, marry someone you love, but people don't even know what it means to love. You must marry somebody you love, and if after marriage you find out that you actually did not love this person, hey, it is best you love that person you have married, and this thing can be developed. But unfortunately, we don't even know. When we feel lost, people are lost in after the opposite sex. Infatuation is at play, and they think it is love. You see, true love is not always when you feel honey, when you feel like you want to take this person to bed. You just want to be in bed with this person. That is not love. That is not. Sometimes you sit down and evaluate: is there any physical thing that if it is not there in this person's life, will I still be in his life? Will I still be in her life? That is, one of the ways to truthfully evaluate your love for this person. I asked a young lady who told me she is like she liked a man that was trying to ask her hand in marriage, and I asked her, what if you marry this person and eventually you find out that he is snoring in bed when he sleeps? And she exclaimed, and that is one of the things I hate most. And you will discover that eventually, if she gets married to this person and that person is snoring, that will be a problem. To her, she thought she loved him, but she never knows that she never loved him. So true love is a love that can conquer all weaknesses, because that person you are getting married to definitely has a weakness. From this woman, the weakness of this man, the former husband, seemed to stem from stinginess. That is wickedness anyway. It is wickedness. But I do not know whether she put in any effort in a way to try and curb this. I want to tell you something. Every man and every woman in a marriage has a formula. Now, sometimes we are too quick, to jump in and jump out without actually trying to learn how to fix these things. Listen, the relationship between man and woman in marriage is like mathematics equation. Every math has a formula, and the formula you use in solving sum is not the same thing you use in solving algebra. Now, these things are quite different. So the system that the other woman, your friend, used in getting to relate with her husband well may not work for you. So it becomes your duty to find out your husband, your wife, what are they like? What is he like? What is she like? How can this thing work? I believe that there is no marriage that cannot work, except only for the fact that people are not actually marrying for the right reasons today. Now, people don't do normal things again. In the days of our fathers, now before a man will get married, he comes home and presents this bride to the father, and the father and the parents, they do some things, some kind of findings. In our own day, we say it is no longer necessary. Quite agreeable, it is no longer necessary. But we have moved from marrying the people we personally have known to marrying people we met on social media. We have moved on from, following entrenched values into relationship to considering just the physical mundane things that don't matter. Now remember, I said I'm not going to bring in religiosity in this one, because if I'm to be religious about this, my point will be quite different. But what I'm saying is that if you look at the rate of failed marriages today, it is so alarming that if your great grandfathers are to be alive today, they would shudder and they will be surprised as to what is happening. Because in those days, some of them married 4, 5, 10, and they were able to live in peace. But today, one woman, one man, and you have all kinds of troubles. It is because the values of marriage or the values for getting married has been eroded. Some think that getting married is just to come out from the parents' house in order to enter the club of the married people. And that is the wrong reason to marry. So when the values are no longer what it used to be, it is inevitable you have this kind of a thing. Because I'm not being religious about this, I'm not going to bring in the spiritual aspect of what happens in marriage that makes marriages not to last. So when you look at things like this, now of course she has told her story, and her husband also, if he is also allowed or if he has enough time to continue this thing, he will also go ahead to paint his own story. He may paint his own story and come to tell us that the reason why he subjected the woman to the treatment that she told us here of was because of the attitude of the woman. Then the blame continues, the blame goes on and on and on and on and on. And not to even talk about today that we have the feminists who are no longer interested in being in the place and the position where they are supposed to be in a marriage. I don't want to be religious about it, because if I should go into the scripture now, I will be failing and breaking what I said I wouldn't go into. So for me, remember, I'm not talking about her or she marrying the pastor. What I'm talking about is the relationship that they had. So instead, a woman will die in a man's hands. The best thing is let that woman return to her father's house, and then let there be a form of an effort put in place to see if there can be a way of saving the marriage, saving the relationship. Sometimes, sacrifices are required, more so when children are involved in this kind of a thing. Because as it is now, the children are the ones that will suffer most. And so I want to end it here. And I have always said to people, before you get married, look before you leap. You see, men can sweet talk you into even not listening to your parents. And when the bitterness of that deceit is beginning to be physical, now you wouldn't even have the boldness to listen to your parents. Now, I'm not saying that you should listen to all kinds of archaic advice that comes from people sometimes, but at least when you want to get married, don't be blinded. Don't marry for the foolish things around. The core value of marriage should be entrenched in your heart. Now, if for instance you are a lady and your mother has not trained you, or you refuse to learn how to cook food well, how to take care of the home, don't even try getting married, because getting married, you may marry the wrong person. The wrong person that was in the home where women were the ones cooking food, and he didn't know how to cook food. He didn't know how to do some things. Now, you must find out these things and understand if you will be able to fit in the life of this person. Listen, it will be too long. Let me end it here. I'll be seeing you in the next video. I'm going to do other video, and then I will talk about the moral justification or otherwise that has to do with the pastor even getting involved in this kind of a thing. God bless you. I will see you in the next video. And till then, from me to you, shalom.
Whatever you've paid, they brought out the ledger, the family ledger, where they put down anything that has been done or that has been paid, bride price. They check it and they found out that brides did not pay bride price. And I can remember vividly, before I returned after the 1 year, my uncle called him and said, "You've not paid, we'll check in the list. There was no specific money. Come and do it." He just ignored it that he has married. Because the dowry is what they're supposed to refund him. Not like the money they bought for drink and all that. They said, we don't have anything. We wanted to refund you the dowry. Look at it. There is no dowry, specific amount, whether it's 1 naira or what. That was it. Before you know it, they told him, we would have collected the children self, but because we love you, okay, go and take care of the children. Let our daughter live. And make sure you don't come after her. He pleaded that they should give him more time to plead. They said, okay, we'll give you 2 weeks. If you're able to talk to her after 2 weeks, she accepted, then you will come back. But if she didn't accept after 2 weeks, leave her alone. If you come after her, we'll come after you. I went back to Lagos. I went back to Lagos after the meeting. I wasn't with Pastor Moses Adeyo. Pastor Moses Adeyo is living in the church premises in World Bank Assembly. There are people there. I'm living in Lagos. I wasn't living with him. I went back to Lagos to continue my life. He do call me until I blocked him. I told him, don't disturb me again. There is nothing between us. I have moved on. I will, if I want to live my life, I want to get married, whatever. He said, over his dead body, would I get married? Over his dead body, would I go to another man? Over his dead body. That is him for life and death, whatever. I told him, I have nothing to do with you. You don't own my life. I have my life to live. Before I came back 2 weeks ago. Even the day as I came back on Friday, he saw me on Sunday of it when he came to see the children in my mother's house. He saw me. He saw me. I wasn't in Pastor Moses' house. He said he doesn't know where I am. He saw me. And why did I say, I have nothing to do with you. If you want to take care of your children, these are our children. Take care of them. He saw me. It's my life. He dumped me in a dustbin and all that, trying to bury me. Another man picked me up and tried to give me a new life. And he just stand up to tarnish my image. He stood up to render another man, to render an innocent man's name useless, just because he chose to identify with me. He promised me that there is no man that wants to stand for me, that he will make them miserable. And that is what he's trying to do. But my God has frustrated his counsel. I am alive today, and I'm happy. I don't want to ruin my happiness. But I pray that God will forgive you. I pray you find forgiveness before God bright. I pray that God will forgive you for tarnishing a man of God's image. You choose to tarnish his image because I choose to live. You want to dump me in the ground and I refuse. Now there are so many women out there who are dying like this. And because of what the society will say, they choose to die. If I have died in Bright's house, people will say, why didn't you talk? There are women that are dying. Why didn't you live? I choose to live. And I choose to find a new life and start a new life. And I've committed the worst crime. Because I refused to die in Bright's house. I refused to go through the same pain and torture. My children are going through so much emotional torture now because of his attitude and things he has done to them. But I don't want to put them in the picture. I didn't do this for you to believe me. I don't need your belief. I don't need your opinion. I don't need your support. But the same way you guys carry evil news to go viral in the social media, I want you to tell the world that I'm a woman that has strived to survive out of this stuff for 11 good years. He knows 11 years of pain, 11 years of torture, 11 years of disgrace and humiliation, 11 years of pain, 11 years of crying at night. He will come back anytime, any day. I'll open the door for him. He will abuse me and call me a useless woman. All these things happen. Now the thing is, I choose to marry. I have the right to marry whosoever I want to. If I found love with anybody, it is my life, nobody's life. People should leave Pastor Moses Adeyo out of this. He's innocent. I'm begging you. Leave the man of God out of this. Let Bright face me. People should tell Bright to come and face me. Let him come and face me. Let's talk. I have some records of his threats. Let him come out and face me. I didn't want to talk, but he has pushed me to the wall. He's trying to make me to go viral as a bad woman. And lastly, before I go, everybody is sympathizing with him. He's a free man right now. As many young ladies who are desiring husbands, bride is free. I challenge you to go and marry brides. So many of you that have daughters and sisters, go to his page, go and marry brides. If you're able to live with him for 3 months, then you come back to me and shook my hand. Go and marry brides. He has his friends who knows this story. His club members know his story very well. Go and ask him what happened. Go and ask him what happened. Go and ask people that knows me. They all know. Go to Lumokrushi. There's nothing more. Go and ask about this story. I rest my case. If you're interested, you want to marry him, go ahead and marry brides. He is there. I choose to live for life. I choose to be alive for my children. I choose to live to fulfill my destiny. I choose to be a strong woman. I don't want to talk about this. I have so many things to talk about, but I'm coming. I'm going to tell the world my story because my story is large. God gave me life and rescued me from the hand of a lion that wants to devour me for 11 years. I run. And you guys feel I should remain there and die. And if I have died, the same word will say, why didn't she run for her life? And I choose to run out of my life, and you guys want to. Now take this video. Let him see it. Let the world see it. And let so many women that are into this pain see it. You have to be strong and come out of it. It doesn't matter what the world will tell you. It doesn't matter how they will nail you and rub you nail. You can still be a better person. The Lord can still give you a second chance. The Lord can still give you a way of survival. I'm begging the name of God. For now, let me rest my case. I'll come back soon. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, but please share this video. Vindicate this man. Is innocent. I'm begging you. He's very innocent. He just wants to tarnish his image. Please vindicate him. God bless you.